in on, I see that we have a request for a interim city clerk. I don't know if that person's going to be present. Is that person available tonight?
No, the person is present, but she won't stand up and be accounted for. She will at the council workshop. Today she's here just to observe, and at the council workshop she'll be introduced. Her resume will be given to the council, and we'll discuss that.
Are we removing that from the agenda?
Pardon?
Are we going to remove it from the agenda and put it on the workshop?
She's not on the agenda.
Yes, she is.
Yeah, it's on the agenda.
No, we're going to take it out. Did you say you want?
I'm happy to speak, Your Honor.
Say again?
I'm happy to address the council if they so choose, Your Honor.
What did she say?
She's happy to address council if you want her to.
No.
Yes, I'd like to ask for an executive session, and I'd like to have the Shepherd appointment community service director move to executive session and move after we vote on that after executive session. Personnel. Alicia?
Okay. On personnel?
Yeah, it'd be under personnel issues.
The personnel issue will come up on the work session, the next workshop, and that's when the personnel, all the personnel will be presented to the council.
Okay, so that's taken off the agenda tonight then.
That all three of them?
That should be out of the agenda tonight.
All right, okay.
All three of them are removed? You want to remove this candidate?
Temporary appointment? Yes.
Move all of them to the workshop?
No. The temporary appointment of Cheryl and the church extension, yes. I'll stay on the agenda.
Okay, what?
So this,
The extension of Cheryl and the extension of Bill.
so this right here, we want to move to after executive session. We want to have executive session first before we discuss.
On both of those.
This is
On both of these?
no. Yes, this will be in the workshop.
What we're doing is we're going to move them right to executive session.
Why?
Because it's a request of a council member to have this discussion before we take any action on it tonight. To move to executive session before we discuss it.
Okay. Can the executive session come immediately after, before 6? Item 6? I propose that the executive session be ahead of old business.
Is there anything in the executive session other than the points you brought up, man?
Just those two issues, yes, personnel issues. That's all we
Okay, is there any other...
Well, the only concern I have about doing that is when we have Mayor Hill here from Algonquin.
Okay, just a minute, I'll take care of that. Before we start on the audience comment, we have Mayor Dave Hill here. He has an important announcement to say, and he came all the way here. Mayor Hill, would you take the podium?
I don't think we finished our agenda adoption.
I thought we finished.
No, I think we still got some more.
Any more, excuse me, any more of the agenda?
I do. I'd rather not move the executive session up in the middle because if there are folks that have come to watch us conduct other business. I don't want to have them wait while we go off to chat in private.
Well, I don't think the executive session should take more than 5 minutes. If we got more than 5 minutes, we're just arguing in there.
I don't know how long it's going to take. I'd rather not make them wait if they're here for something else.
Well, I don't want to stay around here and wait and hear this bigaboo back and forth. Okay.
Well,
when do you suggest the executive session? At the end?
Yeah.
If we go at the end, we'd be here till 10 o'clock.
Well, it's a good incentive for us to be efficient then, isn't it?
We should be efficient because I go to the Valley Regional Fire Authority. They're about 50 times bigger than we are. And every meeting that I went to, it lasts 8 minutes. Over here, it lasts 2-3 hours. I can't see why we last 2-3 hours. Maybe we should work harder at the workshop and get all our questions and answers down pat before we get here, and just pass the motion or pass the whatever we have to do for business. That's the way they do it down in the Valley Regional Fire Authority.
well, Mr. Mayor,
And they're very fast.
first off, attend a workshop then. Second, you haven't been to a council meeting for the last several...
Me?
Yeah, you.
Oh, yes, because I'll tell you what.
No, I don't want to hear...
I'm working on the insurance business, and I'm over at, well, you talking. I'm over at Euphrates. You're not going to be there and here at the same time.
You're not afraid of every Monday night.
Don't shoot blank shots at me.
I'll say whatever I want at work.
You say, you did.
You know, and we're not done approving this agenda.
I'm just, okay, any other addition to the agenda?
Move to approve the agenda as amended.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Mayor Dave Hill, would you make your important announcement?
I'll wait till it's on the agenda.
Pardon?
I'll wait till it comes up on the agenda, that's no
What
problem.
did he say?
He said he'll wait till it comes up on the agenda.
You have audience comments?
You will?
Yes.
Richard Kringle? Rachel Kringle, I'm sorry, I beg your pardon.
Good evening, Council, Mayor Sen. I wanted to come tonight and ask a couple of questions I'm not sure you guys will have the answer for, but this is something I've been working on. Given our current situation with what's happening in the city, my major concern is with the social services at this point, and I made a commitment to the folks at the senior center that should it come down to the city disincorporating, that I would do everything I could do to try to hold on to their services, such as their food lifeline and other important social services that they are accustomed to and that are needed. And so I'm trying to create some type of, or I guess, gain an education about what a backup plan would look like for our community, for the sole purpose of trying to hold on to those services for the folks that really depend on it. And so I guess I just wanted to find out, I'm not sure if there's anything that, if the city attorney is able to give any kind of direction there, but I did find on the King County website that the city is, or if an area is a disincorporated or unincorporated King County, that we can create a community council which could take over some of those responsibilities as well as advocating for our area. And I haven't totally given up on the city staying intact. However, I don't think it would be a good idea to wait until things really fall apart to have some sort of a backup plan in mind. So with that said, if there's anybody who is able to help out with that or can give any direction in that area, I am certainly open and very grateful. And this is not something that I'm trying to push something new on us. Instead, this is strictly a backup plan because I don't want to see our social services fall apart. Ultimately, the senior center and the rec center are kind of the center of the community. It's something that the kids depend on. It's something that our seniors depend on, and I don't want to see them go without. So I did bring a card. I brought some cards with my phone number and email address and things like that, and I'm happy to give them out. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Jack French. Anything?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and and the Council. Can you hear me, Mr. Mayor?
Not really. I can't hear you. But go ahead and speak.
No,
They can hear you.
no, you need to hear me.
Not really.
Yes, you do.
Well, he
You
can't,
better
he means
talk
he can't
loud.
hear you.
Huh?
He means he can't hear you.
I know he can't.
No, you don't.
I've talked to you personally before. Talked right into your ear.
That's right.
Right?
Here. Now you're up there.
Can you hear me?
Talk loud and I'll be able to hear you. Go ahead.
I don't appreciate what you're doing to our city. You've been here too short of a time to take it what you're doing. The people did not vote you in here to do what you're doing. I'm very disappointed in you. You need to straighten up. You need to do things that need to be right. You told us to recall you. We are doing that, and you're balking at it, and you're going against it. Put your papers down. Put the papers down. I know you're not paying attention to anybody that talks to you. Correct?
I'm paying attention to you, but let me tell you one thing.
No.
That's enough. I'm speaking. I'm speaking. I don't want to hear from you. Okay? I'm very disgusted with what you're doing. So is a lot of other people.
I can't hear very well. I've got a hearing defect, and people are telling me what I should hear that I can't hear. Let me tell you what happened. Then I'm going to take my leave. I was up at the VA last week. They tested me. They put a hearing aid on me. On my left side, I could hear good. The right side has been cracked. I've got a steel plate in there, and it's ringing real bad. They put a hearing aid in there, it blocks out this ear. There's no way they can fix that. I don't have any veteran compensation for it. I never did take it, I never will. I could have 100% disability. I don't take a cent on that. That's my hearing problem. If we put in a system here, it has to only come to 1 year. I hear very good when we're talking individually. but in this room, the voice bounced back and forth. She came up, I could hear her mumble, but I couldn't make out the words. Now you come up and tell me that I can't hear. With my hearing ability and my hearing defect, and I can't use the parliamentaries to handle the meeting where I stand by, I'm going to step down and turn the meeting over to the council.
We do have accommodations, Mr. Mayor, for you to be able to hear.
I just told you.
Who else is hearing?
How did you hear her? How come you heard her? A minute ago, you couldn't hear somebody on a PA system.
Resign.
Liar!
Point of order, please. We do have some rules for public decorum in here, and if we could try to be civilized just a little bit.
Does that count for the mayor?
Yes.
It does apply to the mayor as well. It applies to every member of council, and it applies to every member of the audience. Ordinarily, if the chair were here, the chair is responsible for enforcing that. Since we're not quite seated yet, I just thought I'd interject that while we're between chairs.
So, could we at least put it on the record that we tried to introduce the hearing modifications that were brought forward so the mayor would be able to hear? We did move.
There was an attempt to accommodate.
Right, accommodate his hearing.
May I also interject that was pre-tested and everything and does work, so.
We've had it here for a month.
Well, we've had it there for years, but
So we've had it
available testing for a month.
All right. Eden. Brenda Hall.
I'm withdrawing my, thank you.
Gary Van Hee.
Gary Van Hee, 205 Hawthorne Avenue, Pacific, Washington. I just have paying attention to what's been going on, and so I just want to get some clarification, and I hope that somebody can maybe answer some yes or no questions so that I can get a sense of where we are. Is it true that our insurance is done at the end of December? Okay. And then is it true then that elected officials take on the personal liability January 1st without insurance? Is that true?
Yes.
Okay.
Elected officials and employees.
And employees. Okay. Would it make sense then for anybody to show up for work on January 1st if there's not insurance?
It's a big question.
Okay. So, I guess I'm seeing in my own little way is that nobody's going to be here January 1st to do anything. Is that my sense? That is my sense. Is that somewhat accurate?
Yeah, you're right. It's New Year's Day.
New Year's Day. Everybody goes home. Right? The place is locked down. If I call 911, I might as well not. It's not
New Year's Day, we wouldn't be open anyway.
Go home and watch the football game. Okay. All right. So anyway, that it a little bit. I guess if that's the reality, that I guess I see that no elected official would probably want to be held personally liable, and I wouldn't blame everybody for just resigning. But then that leaves us without a government. Also leaves us without anybody to open up these doors or run the senior center or the youth center, or people to drive the police cars or run the utilities. That is the reality that I see, and also that probably gives us a little bit of an idea what an incorporation might look like too, without any representation from anybody to do anything. That's a little concerning to me. I would think that, so, I guess my question then is, if there's no elected officials available January 1st, is there a government agency that steps in to oversee the functioning of the city? Does anybody know that?
I've been inquiring with King County on some of the practical details of this.
Okay.
The city doesn't cease to exist, so only city officials can run it.
Okay.
The county might be willing to step in to provide some services, not as running them through the city, but on their own.
Okay.
But they will not provide city services. If every member of the council resigns, the county council is responsible for finding replacement council members to appoint them. They have to find 2 competent council members willing to take the position with no insurance. And those 2 would then have to find the rest of a new council if they wanted to continue operations. So again, they'd have to find residents of the city willing to do that for a city that had no insurance.
Okay. All right. My time is up. Can I call you and ask you? Okay.
Gary, stick around too through the council report because we're going to have more information about this.
Okay. Thank you.
Dwayne Gravitz? Right, sorry about that.
It looks like a V.
Yeah, I didn't write too clearly. End of the day. So, Dwayne Gratz, 122 3rd Avenue Northwest. So, Mr. Mayor again. Just wanted to have a little conversation with him about what's going on. By the way, Councilman Jones, what he said, completely incorrect what he said about these meetings being too long because you guys aren't organized. You guys all show up for the workshops. You probably could look at the record. I've been coming to most of those and most of these. He hardly ever shows up for anything, much less a workshop. I don't think he ever shows up for a workshop. So, and there's many times you guys say, I wish the mayor was here so we could go over these things. So that's completely incorrect what he said. I really there's so many things to talk about, but I'm really concerned about like Gary said, about the whole thing about no insurance. The mayor says he's spending his time when he's supposed to be here at these meetings doing the insurance thing over in Ephrata. Last time he was not here at a meeting, my understanding was he was talking to his attorney, who was not in Ephrata. Unless he's talking to his attorney about Ephrata, I don't understand that at all. So the biggest thing, and I hope this is going to be a topic tonight, is what is being done in spite of the mayor's lack of action to get the insurance squared away so then everything else could stay sort of running while all the other problems are taken care of. One of my friends pointed out to me the other day that if the city has any kind of bonds out there, such as for LIDs or anything else like that, if the city disincorporates, the individual homeowners are going to be responsible for paying these bonds back. If there's not enough money left within the city's whatever it has, as far as land or whatever else, to pay all the other expenses, whether it's lawsuits, which are up to, what, $12 million now, and probably, I can guarantee if this incorporates, there's going to be more lawsuits over that. The effect on people's homeowners insurance, the effect on people's home value, etc. So, just like to see some discussion about that tonight. Thank you. Are there any other comments from the citizens?
Frank Miller, Sound Inspections. We do have insurance, so January 1st we will be here still doing the inspection.
Mr. Jones, I'd like to apologize for chasing you out.
All right, thank you very much. The mayor has already commented on his report. Finance, do we have anything from finance?
I was just going to report that on Wednesday, there's a Pierce County Clerk Finance Officers meeting in Algona, so I'm taking my staff, and we'll be closed at lunchtime. We're going to be moving some furniture in the clerk's office to make room for a new clerk, which is, we are assured is going to be hired soon. The audit is moving forward. The entrance interview was on Friday. The 3 people that were there got to talk directly with the auditor. He is more than happy to meet with anyone else. The packet from the entrance audit, if you weren't at the meeting, is in your box. And he would love to hear from anyone and hear their concerns. And Finance Committee meets tomorrow at 6:30 right here.
Thank you.
Court statistics, I don't know, I didn't see it, was it in the book? I don't know if there's anything in it. Public Safety Department.
I communicated through email from you, but we interviewed, did background.
Let's go to the students in here, please.
We conducted interviews and background checks on the front office person, which is the title is Evans custodian, and a police officer position. And the police officer applicant is a lateral entry with years of experience, mostly in federal way. And so I gave both of them conditional offers of employment. And we're probably a month out on between the polygraph and the psych and the medical exams. And then if they successfully pass those tests, then I present the applicants to the mayor and hope that he hires them. So that's, and then I have I didn't see the latest agenda. Angelica, are we on for score? Okay. All right. Are there any questions? Yes.
The lateral that you got, was that through public safety testing, or was that one that you'd initiated prior?
It was he came out #1 on our own lateral entry examination. And then public safety, John Walters and I met with the Civil Service Commission last week, and they approved the city using public. So anything where we go forward from now on will be public safety.
Any other questions from council?
Thank you.
Do we have anybody here?